All right, let's look at your first, just your general impression of kind of, you know, being you're a fireman for a lot of years.
Yes,
and
26 years.
26 years, and a community activist at the level and very involved. All of a sudden, you're the mayor of East Chicago. Just your general impression so far.
Huge job, monumental task, beautiful people come across, never ending. It comes at you fast. It's just every minute I'm there, I'm doing something. It's surprising. Like I say, I've been dwarfed by the task.
You know, you mentioned something that I'll talk about here a lot on the air. I'm gonna adjust that for you a little right on the end there. But when you talk of East Chicago, and of course over the years there's been some negative publicity for East Chicago and so forth, but in terms of the people of East Chicago, you say the beautiful people of East Chicago. I call it the most colorful city in America. And quite frankly, all you have to do is walk into any establishment in East Chicago, and you just see that there's just a huge richness to the people of East Chicago. And I just wish that more people would understand that sometimes. Mayor, you come in on the heels of a dark chapter in East Chicago's history on the conviction of the former mayor and so forth. How do you begin the healing?
I think you do it one day at a time. I think that you come in without a preconceived notion of anything. I told people my first day I came in, it was just a humbling experience. I didn't come in with a set amount of goals. I didn't come in saying that I had to get rid of this person. It was just one day at a time. I came in and I just said, let me get past the first day. And that was that Monday. That Sunday we had a prayer vigil at City Hall. And I think that set the tempo, because that showed us that it was about forgiveness. It was about healing. I think it showed me that the city is bigger than one man, including myself. That if you want to paint East Chicago with what happens because of one person, including myself, then I think you're misguided at least. I think a city is composed of, take the city of East Chicago, maybe when the census come out, it'll say 30,000 people. So how can you damn 30,000 people because of what one man does? So I think when people reduce it to that, then they miss the richness, the fullness of our city.
Now, you mentioned one thing, you came into office, you didn't just, you know, immediately fire folks, and I guess what a lot of observers were looking for is, in the past it seems as if there's some sort of political retribution had been the norm in East Chicago. I mean, did you try to stay away from that? Or I know you've got your own people in leadership positions and so forth, but you know, folks that maybe have been loyal to other folks, I mean, are you punishing them in any way?
No, I haven't. Well, I take it back. Recently, I've hired one person, and that's the only person I've hired. I would say that if you come across a situation and you do not assess it, then again, you're prone to make a mistake. So I came in saying, let me see what people do. Let me see how they do it, how well they do it, and then move on from there. You're right, along the way, you do come across people that you want to be part of your team. And in time, they would be included, but I didn't think it was necessary for the very first day.
Talking to East Chicago Mayor Anthony Copeland, and he is in here with me for the first time. But of course, it's not the first time in here, because I guess in a shift, actually, as you were putting the keys in there, you were walking into your office on the very first day, you called the show here and said hello to everybody.
Oh, okay,
and said
yes.
it's going to be a different. You know, just quite frankly, one of my biggest bones of contention with what was going on in East Chicago is that we were unable to gain access to the mayor or very much information. So just, I guess, the Post and the Times and us are probably the ones that want to hear it most out of your mouth. But what is your philosophy going forward about openness and transparency in East Chicago?
Well, I can't remember the young lady that I met at the caucus. She's affiliated with your show.
That would have been my wife.
Okay, your wife. Okay,
go,
well, see.
It's kind of hot, isn't she?
Yeah.
Right,
And you know what was ironic about that? She came up and she asked me about saying some words on the first day. And when I went, you're right, literally going to put the key in, I remembered. And I went back, I sat in the car, and I called her on the phone. And that was before I went into the office. And it was simply, I say, let me not start the first day off by not telling the truth, you know. And
or,
so then I
or
kept
by
my
having
word.
the media go, hey,
or kept my word.
Let
Let me put it that way, kept my word. And but transparency, that's the basic building block of government. If the people cannot see what they're paying for, if the people cannot see where their dollars is going to or where they're going from, then I think you're only fooling yourself if you think you can keep them in the dark forever. It only attests to the job we do when we let the people come in and see it. For the last 18 years, I've ran on that, and it's something I look forward to doing. There's no reason why you can't come in and do a public information request and get a timely response, normally, which would be 3 to 5 days, if it isn't a volume of information. So I would simply say that it's a right. It's a right.
Talking to Mayor Anthony Copeland of the city of East Chicago. And I do want to make a mention, just a small programming note, the first senior financial, Stephen Searing, he'll be on next Monday. We had a slight scheduling snafu, and he will be on next Monday. And he was gracious enough to just say, hey, you know what, we had a little error, and we'll do it again on Monday. Once again, we're talking with the mayor. And if you guys want to call in, you can. I'll take a couple calls, and then we have some announcements to make. Let's go to line 1. Hey, you're on the air with Mayor Anthony Copeland. Dave from Highland. Dave, give me 1 second before we're trying to get you set up here on the so that they can hear it for ECTV. And here we go. Go ahead.
Just listening to you, and I think everyone knows you walked into a daunting task, to say the least. But I have to say, I'm really impressed with the way you're coming out. That it's a tough job. I'm obviously you're walking into an extremely difficult situation, and you're quite humbling. I have to say, which is very refreshing to say, hey, you know what? This is a tough job. I'm learning every day, and I'm just so impressed, and especially coming in as, I don't want to say an interim mayor, because you're working the remainder of the term. One, do you continue? Are you going to go to the next election? I know that's down the road, but I just have to tell you that I'm impressed with your candor. I think what I'm looking for, that it is a hard job. You're learning every day, and you're taking things one day at a time, and that's the way just about any tough job should go. So just listening to you for 5 minutes, Mayor, I have to tell you, I'm really impressed with you.
Hold on a second. Dave, don't hang up. I got a follow-up. Go ahead, Mayor.
Well, you know what, Dave? I can give you 15.5 million reasons why it's humbling. That's the deficit that I inherit. I think, again, if you make rational decisions, you'll make foolish ones. But I can give you 15.5 million reasons why I need to take it slow.
Hey, Dave, let me follow up at you. Of course, Dave is from Highland, and he is looking at the outside, looking in to East Chicago. Dave, you talk to a lot of people. What do you think the general feeling looking at East Chicago from the outside is right now around the Calumet region?
Well, we look, obviously, you're absolutely right. I'm looking from the outside in, and initially, when the indictments came down for Mayor Pabay and Camacho, that it was business as usual. Here was another couple of careless politicians that reached their hand too far down into the cookie jar, and it was just, oh well, another politician in Lake County and East Chicago indicted, big deal. But then on the other hand, Jed, listening to you and your show, it's a lot bigger than that. We have a lot of people, and in Lake County, we still depend on the people of East Chicago a lot. And you're right. let's move on. Let's let the good people of East Chicago, move on from here. And it is a deep wound, and don't get discouraged, and let Mayor Copeland do what he does.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave. Mayor, there are other people outside of East Chicago listening right now, and quite frankly, they're really gauging pretty much everything you're saying right now, and they want to know what the rest of the region can expect out of East Chicago in, say, the next couple of years. What do you want to tell them?
Well, you say the next couple of years, I can tell them about the next 14 months, 13 months now. In the next 13 months, they will see East Chicago reaching out for help, reaching out for the wisdom of our sister city mayors, reaching out for the advice from industry. I just revealed to you that we're battling a $15.5 million deficit monster, and to get through this period with the least amount of damage as possible, or the least amount of hurt inflicted upon the people, it is going to take making wise decisions. Anyone can come in with a broad axe and just chop down everything in sight and just say, look, now I cleared it, it's balanced, but that'll leave a trail of tears. I would just simply tell you that we're reaching out to the wisdom of Mayor McDermott, Clay, all of the surrounding mayors that's been there, done that. We're reaching out to them for help. We're reaching out all the way down to the state capitol. We're reaching to our state elected officials. We're just telling any and everyone that the city of East Chicago realize the predicament is in, and to help us get through it.
East Chicago Mayor Anthony Copeland is in the house. Let's go to the phone lines. 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air with Mayor Copeland.
Good morning, Mayor Copeland. Kudos
Good
to
morning.
you for your first initial appearance on WJOB. And listen, Mayor, don't make it your last. One thing we would like to see as listeners, you make WJOB your friend, pretty much like Mayor McDermott does. Make it a weekly or 2-weekly appearance all the time. And one of the things, I think you said it, Mayor, make transparency one of your number one objectives, and certainly say, by golly, I'm going to have my administration. There's going to be honesty and integrity and openness in there. And I want comments from the people, and make yourself available to the people. But you sound great, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Wow, 2 guys from Highland telling you that they like the transparency idea.
And I better say I'm reaching out to Highland, too.
Of course, 219-845-1100. Mayor Anthony Copeland is in the house. Mayor, who's to your left?
Val Gomez, Administrative Assistant.
Val is...
and he's part of my transition
part of the
team
transition
also.
team.
Yes.
Val, you've been around EC a while, huh?
I've lived here. I'm 60 years old. I've lived here since my family came here when I was about 3 or 4 years old.
So 57 years you've lived in the city of East Chicago. Now, what are you doing? What are you helping Mayor Copeland with?
I'm in his transitional team. We're evaluating all the positions in the city. We're evaluating the work that people do. One thing we've noticed that there are a lot of good people working for the city. I think a lot of people on the outside have the notion that everybody in the city is a little corrupt, or they always look the other way. But we found there are a lot of good, hard-working people working for the city, just their hands were tied. And I think if we have a different philosophy where we tell the people, now let's do what's right. Let's do the best thing for the city. And we can move along. We're not out, like the mayor said, we're not out to chop heads or cause any disruption. We just want the city to work right.
Val Gomez, he's on the transition team with Mayor Anthony Copeland. Roosevelt or Washington?
That's what they told us. They told us one of the questions you're going to ask was which high school. Washington.
Washington.
Class, I graduated in 1968.
Washington, 68.
Mm-hmm.
You've been around a while in Harbor?
Yes, I lived in the Harbor the whole time. I was in the fire department 32 years. I was fire chief for 10 years. Like I said, I went to Washington. I went to Old Lincoln School, Old Riley School, and Washington. Just about every school I went to, they've knocked down already.
and you've been around EC for a long time.